This Jehovah's Witness governing body member was disfellowshipped for the most outrageous reason. His name is Ray Franz, and if you've ever been on my TikTok lives, you will have likely have heard me mention him once or twice, because Ray Franz is one of the reasons that I woke up and left the Jehovah's Witness religion. Ray Franz was a member of the very first governing body, and his uncle, Fred Franz, was the man who came up with all the Jehovah's Witness doctrine and was the most powerful person in the religion alongside Watchtower President Nathan Knorr. Anyway, in the late 1960s, Ray Franz was tasked by the governing body to create a Bible encyclopedia. To do so, he enlisted the help of several other members of Bethel, which is the Jehovah's Witness headquarters. And they were going to research the Bible as it was, taking every verse, every scripture apart and researching its history, its archaeological evidence, cross-referencing it with the original languages in order to come to a complete understanding of what the Bible actually teaches, because they assumed it would back up the Jehovah's Witness doctrine. However, by doing this, they discovered something shocking. It turned out that Jehovah's Witness beliefs could not be backed up with scripture. Archaeological evidence and language experts confirm that Romans did crucify people on crosses. Jesus isn't the Archangel Michael. Disfellowshipping is unscriptural, and all Christians go to heaven, according to the Bible. When he reported back to the governing body about this, they told him to stop researching it and not tell anybody about it. Everybody who worked on that research team ended up leaving the religion because it wasn't true, and they began following regular Christianity. What followed was a massive purge in Bethel headquarters. The governing body was spooked, and they disfellowshipped anybody who was associated with that research team, even their wives and their children. Now, they tried to disfellowship Ray Franz himself. However, they couldn't, because they couldn't get him on anything. Every time they invited him to a judicial committee, he constantly quoted the Bible and referred them back to the Bible, which they're supposed to believe. So as a result, they couldn't get him on apostasy. And that's where the corrupt governing body had a great idea. One of the researchers who was disfellowshipped was called Ed Dunlap. Ed Dunlap invited Ray for a meal at his house because they were friends. Knowing that Ray would attend, they invented a new rule which said that anybody who associates with a disfellowshipped person will be disfellowshipped themselves. That's where that rule comes from. Ray attended a meal with his best friend, and so was disfellowshipped for eating a meal with a former member. After all of this, Ray Franz went on to write a fantastic book called Crisis of Conscience. In this book, he reprints internal Bethel letters, photocopies of suppressed Watchtower literature, and explains exactly what happened. And what's interesting is the tone in that isn't one of an angry man. It's a man who generally cares about truth and generally cares about Jehovah's Witnesses. The book is so powerful that every Jehovah's Witness who's read it has ended up leaving the religion. It's so powerful that the Watchtower Society themselves tried to buy the copyright after Ray's death so that they could make sure it was never reprinted. Fortunately, they didn't succeed. Now, that book that Ray Franz and his fellow researchers produced was called The Aid to Bible Understanding. It was actually published for a short time, and then they quickly suppressed it when people started waking up after reading it. So it's no longer available on the Watchtower's website. They replaced it with the Insight books. If you're Jehovah's Witness, you know what they are. Anyway, you can access The Aid to Bible Understanding by visiting the link in my bio and look at the books section. Ray Franz's book, Crisis of Conscience, is on Amazon. It's also on Spotify as an audiobook. But if you're a Jehovah's Witness and you're worried that reading this book might get you into trouble, the ebook version is also available via the link in my bio.